Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. It is such a beautiful day, I needed to take you guys into the field. There's a cow watching me behind the camera. It is nothing short of delightful, as is the Chelsea news that we are going to break for you guys today. Interested, if not ready and poised to make a bid for Michael Olise of Crystal Palace. What a phenomenal player this is. Today, we're going to talk about what that means for Angelo, what it could mean for Cherki, what it could also mean for Mohammed Kudus, players that we talked about in the last video here on GBFC. We're also going to discuss what this could mean regards Raheem Sterling, because everybody in an attacking position would be affected by the signing of 21-year-old Frenchman Michael Olise. But first things first, if you're not yet following the Telegram, make sure you check the top link in the description. Giving away 2 tickets, VIP, to Chelsea versus Liverpool. First Premier League game of the season. You've got to be following the Telegram to be able to win. And whilst you're at it, the support in the last 5 or 6 days on GBFC has been better and higher than ever before. So if we can keep that going into a new week, got fresh trim, feeling good, hit the like button on this video and subscribe with bell notifications turned on so that you don't miss anything. I've got a feeling, all right, this could be the biggest and best week yet of Chelsea's pre-season. I think we're going to sign at least 1 player during this week. I'm sure of it, maybe even 2. But we begin with the news of Callum HudsonAdoi. This is from Standard Sport. Callum HudsonAdoi pushes for Chelsea exit after agreeing personal terms with Fulham. Nizar Kinsella says talks with Fulham are complicated by HudsonAdoi's high wages. He is on well over £120,000 a week after Bayern Munich tried to sign him 4 years ago. All parties have seemingly lost out after those bids were rejected. It's not ideal for Chelsea Football Club having a player like Callum HudsonAdoi who you're just waiting. Is he going to fulfill any of that potential that we got so excited about? When Callum HudsonAdoi broke in, he got a load of minutes under Maurizio Sarri. We thought, okay, he's starting to cook. He's starting to look like the player that all of that promise was leading us to believe was there. An uninspiring loan move last season to Bayer Leverkusen, and all of a sudden, a move to Fulham is about accurate as to where I think Callum HudsonAdoi's career trajectory has led him to. Fulham remain firmly in pole position for Callum HudsonAdoi. Chelsea have sounded out other clubs, including Lazio, but he's firmly expected to travel across the city. He wants to leave ASAP after a month with the under-21s. Brutal from Maurizio Pochettino. He does not even want to give Callum HudsonAdoi a chance in this Chelsea pre-season. Based off what we're hearing, what we're about to talk about with right midfielders at Chelsea Football Club, based on Angelo's performances so far in pre-season, it looks to me as though Maurizio Pochettino has made the right call here. HudsonAdoi training with the under-21s, it's ruthless management. Maurizio Pochettino knows the players he wants to see, he knows the players he wants to work with, and as a result of that, he knows the players he doesn't want to work with. So, Callum HudsonAdoi leaving Chelsea, this is the right time, this is the right move. In terms of like what we're going to get money-wise, it's not going to be close to the 40 million that we would have got from him if we'd have sold him to Bayern Munich a couple of years ago. But you live and you learn. Chelsea probably should have cashed in at the time, but at the time, that promise looked closer to being fulfilled than the conversation we're having right now. With Callum Hudson, wow, that cow is getting involved. Thank you, mate. Do you agree? Do you concur or do you disagree? Gonna have to wait and see later on if he keeps on talking. We move into some very exciting news. When it comes to Premier League footballers who are my favourite players outside of the Chelsea squad, when it's away from the Big Six, Michael Olise, last season for Crystal Palace, was up there as one of my favourite players in the Premier League to watch. Brilliant creator, loves to find the half spaces, smart enough as a winger at such a young age to not just run and take players on, giving himself an extra yard to beat the man, cutting back as well. With Chelsea's players that we've got in the midfield, progressive attacks, players joining the box, Michael Olise, I think would be a massive signing for Chelsea. Let's take a look at the news and see what's happened, because this one broke about 7 or 8 hours ago. Cal's talking again, he absolutely loves it. Fabrizio Romano has said, Chelsea and Manchester City have both Michael Olise in their list. Understand there's a release clause into his contract around £35 million. Alarm bell emojis. To me, this is a bargain. In the current footballing market, when you think about the value players go for, and sentimentally, Chelsea spending 30, 35 million, Nicholas Jackson, I like that. You just have to say his name in that kind of tone, don't you? Jackson, about the same price, has been brilliant. Chelsea tend to do good business for these kind of figures. Both clubs are waiting for clarity about his conditions as he picked up an injury last month. Olise was injured, he injured his hamstring during France under-21 duty at the Euros. Crystal Palace here, 35 million. Palace are going to be fuming about this one. Wilfried Zaha is about to go to Galatasaray. Olise, formerly of Reading, signed for Palace in 2021. I think this is a brilliant signing for Chelsea. The great thing about Olise is, naturally, he is a wide right midfielder. He can play right wing, can also play as an attacking midfielder, which is very similar to that of the profiles of other players that Chelsea are currently trying to achieve the signing of. Rayan Cherki can play out wide, can also play as a number 10 attacking midfielder. Mohammed Kudus also can play anywhere across the midfield, can play wide right, cut in on his left foot, play as an attacking midfielder. This also leaves us to talk, we're going to talk in comparisons between Cherki, Kudus and Olise in a moment. But what does this mean for Angelo? Well, Angelo, it looks as though, despite anything that would happen in terms of good performances during this pre-season, Angelo was always going to be moving on loan, preferably in Chelsea's sense, to Strasbourg this summer. So no matter what we see from Angelo, from what we've seen so far, what we could see in upcoming friendlies, the decision was already made to loan Angelo out. When I'm thinking here about my tier list series, we're going to have to move him to the loan category. But then it makes sense that even though Chelsea should be looking at a striker, maybe a goalkeeper, definitely Caicedo, it makes sense now as to why Chelsea are linked with your Cherkis, Kudus, and now Olise as well. We've also got to remember, as much as it is such a loose comment to make, and definitively it's hard to know what this means, Premier League proven. At Crystal Palace, his stats are fantastic. He's got a brilliant goal against Man United, free kick as well, good from set pieces. Olise could take corners for us too, which is something we've been pretty useless at now for about 18 months. Olise is one of those players who gets you off your seat. Premier League proven. When it comes to signing Mohammed Kudus, immediately I'm thinking similar price point to Ziyech from Ajax, transition, Eredivisie, Premier League, is it going to work? I think with Kudus, yes it does. I think he's one of those dynamic, versatile midfielders who has so many different elements to his game that under Pochettino, a manager who, from what we've seen in the opening 2 games of pre-season, wants Chelsea to attack, wants attacks to be built by midfield runners, get the ball in front of the defence, don't just spray it out wide, don't just hit it long, have that in your locker, but have the ability to unlock passes, pass through teams. I am delighted that we have seen that from Chelsea, and when I'm starting to compare them here, I think Kudus, based on the profiles of midfielders that we've got at the club so far, and that we want but we haven't yet got, maybe Kudus, out of all of these players, is currently the better one. But with Olise, 35 million quid, one more season in the Premier League, we're talking double that. If he plays and elevates his game from what we saw at Palace last season, Olise becomes a 60, 70 million winger. And I think at Chelsea, under Pochettino, with the way that we attack, just from the 2 pre-season games I've seen, I think Olise is a massive upgrade currently on Raheem Sterling, which is the next point we've got to discuss here, because looking at what I've seen from Sterling so far in this pre-season, I think with Noni Madueke banging on the door, with Chelsea looking at Angelo, yes, he might go on loan, but he's only 18 years old. There's a potential that Angelo takes over from Sterling before Sterling's contract at Chelsea is done. So when we're talking Olise, looking at what Sterling has been doing in pre-season, looking at how profligate he was last season for Chelsea Football Club, Raheem Sterling, his Chelsea career is on a knife edge. A lot of you guys were saying Just sell him. He's no good anymore. Has he been padded by the fact that at Manchester City under Guardiola, there was so much brilliance attacking around him that the stats have elevated him above the level of player that he is? From what we saw last season and what we're currently seeing in the early stages here of pre-season, I don't think that would be far wrong regarding Raheem Sterling. And with Olise coming in, with Madueke fighting for that right wing position, Raheem Sterling's Chelsea career could be over this season before the middle of September. I think Sterling is under serious pressure now to deliver. Not just good performances, leadership, all of that stuff. We know he trains well. He's always fit. He's always running. But he's got to start absolutely elevating that end product, because it was abysmal yesterday and it was pretty shocking for the majority of last season. Olise, Cherki, and also Kudus. I don't see Chelsea signing all three of these. This would be ludicrous. It would be pointless based on the quality we've seen from the youngsters in pre-season. At the moment, Cherki is the one that gets me very excited. Olise, despite the injury, gets me just as excited as Cherki, and the fact that he can also play in that attacking midfield position, the same as everything we're seeing from the current Chelsea targets. Versatile across that midfield. Pochettino wants to be able to have different elements to work with. The fact he's been doing it in the Premier League, 35 million. I just feel as though this could be the best of that trio. But Kudus, I think, has got everything. And I think maybe that could give the edge to him in terms of who Chelsea signed. But Poch has already spoken to Olise. That is what we are led to believe at this moment in time. Let's see how this one plays out. I think if Chelsea put the bid in, personal terms with Olise are agreed. There's no problems there. We could see this happen in the space of a couple of days this week. So stay tuned to GBFC, subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you don't miss anything. If you enjoy the palm trees, the cows mooing in the background, if you could even hear it, hit the like button on this video, and I'll see you later for another Chelsea news video. Come on, you Blues.